Then it's your turn to sing.
Secret Tunnel.
No. The theme song.
Welcome back to the Shirt Man Podcast. Bum, 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 bum.
Today's episode was already filmed. I didn't turn my microphone on for the last take, so we have 50 minutes that we just can't use. So basically what's going to happen is we're refilming right now, but I want to be super transparent that this has already been done, so it might actually be a quicker episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes it just works like that.
Sometimes it just be like that. It is what it is. An ancient proverb once said, "It is what it is." So basically what we're doing today is we are talking about our top 5 favorite TV shows, and mine are in order. Ben's, are yours still out of order?
Mostly out of order. I'm changing the 2 last ones.
Very nice. So let's just jump into it. Oh, first of all, I'm in my brother's room because I had to clean my sheets today. And I just wanted to address that I'm in a different room, which is why I have sports paraphernalia. What the hell is that? Anyways, jumping into my
lovely rhino.
Oh, I love the rhino.
A lovely rhino.
We love to see it.
I had to take that down off my wall for the for Too Solid Flesh, the virtual Zoom show.
That's where your green screen was?
So I needed this space to have like a green screen there, which was
that.
Actually just like a really dark blue sheet. And I would wear lighter clothes that stood out against dark blue.
The Zoom green screen function is flawed.
It is janky.
As you can see, the walls of this room are green and it didn't work, so I had to go into my sister's room, which were light pink. Because that's a green screen. Anyways, let's just jump into it. So my number 5 episode is from Avatar: The Last Airbender, Season 3, Episode 12, The Western Air Temple. Now, spoiler alert about this episode of the podcast. This giant episode is going to be a spoiler alert for all the episodes we're talking about, basically. So, if you don't want to be spoiled, this is not the episode for you. But we're just talking about specific episodes, okay? But anyway, Avatar: The Last Airbender, this is the episode where Zuko joins the Aang gang. And I love this episode, not because it was a huge plot twist. Actually, in fact, in the last episode, he says that that's what he's going to do, so it's not like it's a surprise when he shows up there. But I love his interactions with the group, because they're so different from any of his other interactions in the series ever. You see him in the series struggling to be a good guy, but none as intense as in this episode. You just feel so bad for him, but it's also a side of his character we've never seen before, and some of my favorite Zuko moments ever, period. So I just had to put this down, but there are plenty of other Avatar episodes that I would love to admire as well, leading us to Ben's next pick.
And my pick is also from Avatar: The Last Airbender. It is, surprisingly not the Secret Tunnel episode.
Secret Tunnel!
That one was just barely beaten out by the Tales of Ba Sing Se. Specifically the entire Uncle Iroh bit.
Of course, best character.
Iroh is the greatest character.
And not only that, I think they've said before that his son has died, but we've never seen him grieve. Because he's so all about Zuko. He's such a fantastic father figure to Zuko that we don't see this other side of him, which is he did lose his son.
Yeah.
He loves Zuko like a son, but his son died. It probably makes it even more painful to be this father figure to Zuko. I think that episodes that are in little vignettes are brilliant, but especially when the stories are so effective. And not only that, we find out more about these characters that we already know so much about.
Yeah.
Wasn't one of the vignettes also with Toph and Katara having a nice moment? With the makeup?
So, yeah.
Which after all the shit that Katara has thrown at Toph, it was really nice to see. I love Tales of Ba Sing Se. And of course, the song, Iroh's song,
Oh, yeah.
Gorgeous. It's a gorgeous episode. I'm so glad you brought it up. Do you have anything else to say about it?
It's just great. I love episodes that are like the collection of vignettes where we just follow like kind of a regular day or regular quote unquote day.
That's so true.
In the life of a couple different characters.
It was really well done.
Especially at that point in the story too, because like it makes sense to have it right there, because the characters, you're supposed to see them like almost living normal lives for the first time for an extended period of time. Yeah. So it makes sense to have this kind of day in the life episode that isn't like fully advancing the plot, but is still really fun and just really heartwarming.
I love it. Oh, it's so good. That was in season 2, right?
Yes. Yeah.
That is really the perfect time to have it. But season 1, you're establishing things. Season 2, you already know these people. So you're right. It's the perfect place for it. I didn't even think about that, too. Just story-wise, and the pacing of Avatar is really great.
Yeah.
On to a show that is not at all like Avatar at all. My number 4 pick was Bob's Burgers. I have 2 episodes tied because I just could not choose. One is Seaplane, and the other is Just One of the Boys for Now. And Seaplane, the reason I chose Seaplane, is it is an episode that can make me laugh every time I watch it. I think it's one of the funniest episodes of anything. Will Forte as the creepy seaplane pilot trying to get with Linda, fantastic. Not to mention that I'm a big fan of Will Forte anyway. His comedic timing is unmatched. Will Forte, Jack Black, my 2 favorite people. Very similar chaotic energy, so you can tell what kind of actors I gravitate towards. But Seaplane is hysterical. Even the throwaway lines in that, I feel like there's not a single joke that doesn't land in that entire episode. And then the reason I chose Just One of the Boys for now is for a very different reason. The songs. Oh my gosh. And it really shows us why they went on to create Central Park as well. I didn't choose a show from Central Park for this list because not enough episodes exist for me to choose from yet. But Bob's Burgers is not only competent at creating songs, they are really, really good at it. And specifically in this episode, it really makes sense narratively because it's not just we're breaking out into song, which isn't out of character for Bob's Burgers characters, but it's boys serenading Tina in her mind. So much fun. Yeah. They got so many amazing vocal talents like Andrew Rannells, Daveed Diggs, to name a few. That episode was jam-packed with songs, and every single one of them freaking slapped. So good. So silly. The most fun. I love Bob's Burgers. What's your favorite episode of Bob's Burgers?
Great. Probably the seaplane one, actually.
It's a good episode. It's a really, really good episode.
I haven't actually watched Bob's Burgers in a while.
We should binge it after this.
I think it was taken off of Hulu, I think.
Are you serious?
Or am I?
I don't think
I might be thinking of something else, actually.
Okay. Don't ever scare me like that again.
How dare you?
How dare you? Wow. What is your next episode, Ben?
Okay, my next episode is the series finale of Steven Universe, Change Your Mind. Because there's so many great moments in it. I did have a problem with how quickly they were able to redeem like White Diamond, especially.
I love Steven Universe.
Like we met White Diamond for the first time like 2 episodes before this. And then suddenly at the end of this, it's like she's redeemed.
Yeah. I love Steven Universe. It's one of my favorite shows, but pacing has never been its strong suit for anything other than the Peridot arc. Peridot arc was perfection, but other than that, it really thrives in the characters and the visual storytelling and the songs. There's a lot of places where it does thrive, but I'm glad we're able to critique it while still loving it. It's still one of my favorite shows, but it's not like...
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to watch a video that's like, oh, it's the work of the devil and it sucks and everything about it is awful. I'm not going to watch one of those shows. It's one of my favorite shows. But I can watch a critique video and fairly say, oh yeah, actually I agree with that, or oh, I don't agree with that. And I think that's important for you for us as adults, I would never be having this conversation if I was a kid, that we can really enjoy something while still saying, oh, I would have appreciated if this happened. Which is all I think about for the second half of Steven Universe Future, because, like we were talking about in the first time we tried to film this episode, the series finale for Steven Universe is so much stronger than anything that's come after it. In terms of wrapping up the story in such a clean bow. What was your favorite part of that episode? I want you to talk about this again. I know what it is, but I want you to talk about it.
The whole sequence when he's facing off against White Diamond. And, especially, the moment when White Diamond, lifts him up and you just see, the silhouette of her hands ripping his gem out.
It's very graphic.
That whole sequence, that was really disturbing to watch, first of all.
The long nails.
And, yeah.
It was so creepy. And then the she's gone, of course, which is...
Yeah,
we both agree.
Pink Steven is revealed.
One of the best voice acting moments in the show. And if you change your mind at the end, just a great way to end. There are so many moments that I appreciated in Steven Universe Future. Sadie having a different partner, really moving on with her life, seeing them grow up, having the songs.
Yeah.
I'm Looking Forward was an amazing song. Mr. Universe was an amazing song. I'm so happy for all the songs that came out of Steven Universe Future. The fact that the finale, not only Jasper was shattered, and I don't think that resolution was very good. There also wasn't a song.
There was no resolution.
There wasn't a song either.
Yeah.
The thing that I loved so much about Change Your Mind is it ended with music is one of the most important things to the series. You gotta end with that. Literally, the Steven Universe series finale, in my mind, as much as I appreciate the movie, and as much as I appreciate most of what happened in Future until the shattering and the car crash and everything, where Steven was just like, I'm unapologetic. I really don't care. I really view that as the real ending.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else to say about the finale?
Just, yeah. I just kind of wish that the entire Steven Universe series, franchise, whatever, had ended with that episode, because it's such a perfect ending. And I just had way too many problems with Future.
So the next episode I had was Steven Universe as well, but I had to tie it. I'm surprised I didn't choose the same episode you did, because I do love that finale. But I chose Single Pale Rose and The Wedding. And Single Pale Rose, I'm not gonna lie, when I was first watching it, I was like, oh, what? Rose Quartz as Pink Diamond? This doesn't make... Blah, blah. The first time that was revealed, I was rejecting it until I realized that Garnet and Amethyst did not know. And that just changed it for me. Because it's like, wow, Steven isn't even going to have this epiphany to himself. He has to deal with other people coming to this earth-shattering conclusion for the first time as well. Garnet and Amethyst are thousands of years old, and he still has to take care of them through finding out that his mom led this rebellion under an Elias, was a huge liar to these people that she fought beside for thousands of years. It was such a good episode, and also the subconscious and the subconscious of Pearl, seeing literally every level of her trauma. It was really well done.
That was really cool, going deeper and deeper into Pearl.
Pearl's Pearl, Pearl's Pearl. I thought the way they told that story was really interesting, and it was a really good reveal. I didn't think that I was going into that episode finding out that Pink Diamond was Rose Quartz. They kind of kept alluding to the fact that Pearl was the one to shatter her, but I don't know. I wasn't ready for it. As much as people called that early on, but they kept misdirecting us in every single way. I know that some people were still calling it, but I was certainly led astray, which I think was really good on their part. They did everything possible to try to throw me off track, and it worked. And the second episode, The Wedding, I loved everything about this episode. I loved all of the songs. I loved that everyone made an appearance. Like, Bismuth just came back. We're a living La Vida Loca, you know what I mean? It's such a great mix of happy, and then when shit hits the fan, it really hits the fan. That is the best battle we've ever had in Steven Universe, I really think. Or surely one of the best. When he's trying to reach them in their subconscious, when he's knocked out, you see everyone fighting, and he's still struggling. This is like an element of Steven's powers that we've only been, like, kind of let it on. Like, you know, when he accidentally went into Lars's body? Like, we still fully don't know the extent of that power, which is a little disappointing. But I love the way they did it for the purpose of this episode. It was really well done. Plus, Lisa Hannigan as Blue Diamond, the "It's you, Pink." That's also tied with the "She's Gone" for the best moments. I think about that and I get chills. That with the pairing of the music, oh my gosh. And I understand. If Steven wasn't Rose/Pink Diamond's son, would they have become good people? I don't know, but these are the given circumstances we're working with, and the reveal was great. The reveal was everything I was hoping for. The tears in the eye, like the visually and the voice acting for those moments of holy shit, the person we've been fighting this entire time was our sister the whole time. Great episode. I love the wedding. I really enjoyed the wedding.
Yeah.
What's your next episode, Ben?
My next episode is from the only live action show that either of us will be talking about.
Yeah, my whole list is cartoons.
Yeah, so this is from Twin Peaks. It's the first episode of season 2, where in season 1 we had left off one of the main characters, Agent Dale Cooper, had just been shot inside his hotel room. We don't know who did it or anything about it. It just ends with the gunshots, and then season 2 begins, Dale Cooper lying on the ground in his hotel room, and it is the most surreal and like weirdly funny sequence ever. It's like, when I describe it, it sounds just really dark.
Yeah.
But, like, if you actually watch it, it's like, why is this so funny? So like, he's like barely conscious, gunshot in his gut, and the hotel waiter comes in and like has like a glass of milk, sets the milk on the table, takes the phone, puts it back on its hook and everything, and then he's heading out, and Dale Cooper's just like, "Can you get a doctor?" or something. And he just like, the waiter just doesn't really seem to understand. And like, he like leaves, and then he comes back, and he's like just looking at Dale Cooper, and I'm thinking, oh, he's realizing what's happening, he's gonna go get a doctor, but then he doesn't. He's just like, hello. And he leaves again, and then he comes back again. And he's just like,
that's so creepy.
and then like Dale Cooper, like on the ground, he's just like,
that is pretty funny. Didn't you say it was the most David Lynch thing you've ever seen?
Yeah, but get this, it gets weirder after that, because then, after the waiter is completely left, a giant just appears in his room.
I don't think I would like this show.
This really bizarre, like these really weird, vague riddles almost, that are going to help Cooper in his search to find out who murdered Laura Palmer, which is the whole mystery that the show's centered around. It's so weird, and it is so David Lynch, and I just love that for like the beginning of season 2.
Mm-hmm. As I said before, it's really interesting that you put a show that I haven't watched, and then my next one is a show that you haven't watched, and I'm gonna make you watch it. It's Kipo and the Age of Wonder Beasts, and the episode is Heroes on Fire, which is the finale of the second season, which is a season that just came out. So I'm going to try and limit spoilers because I still want Ben to watch this with me, but this is the second time I'm saying this. Do not remember anything I'm saying for when we watch it. And I'm going to try and keep it vague too. And I'm going to try and keep it vague here too, because I know this just came out, and this entire episode is a spoiler, but I want to give people the chance to watch the series because it's really good. One thing that I really like about Kipo that I think Steven Universe doesn't do effectively is the pacing of arcs of characters, and the realization that actions have consequences regardless of what made you come to the conclusion that you should do this. You know what I mean? Somebody can have a journey and years and years and years of abuse, but that doesn't excuse mind control or trying to kill people. Mm-hmm. And it's so well done. I think there was an episode of either Cartoon Universe or The Roundtable that talks about this more, but basically Kipo is trying to get this person to realize that you shouldn't force people to love you. You have to give them a chance to prioritize you. And this person hasn't been prioritized. So he's hearing this from Kipo. He's realizing, oh my gosh, this is somebody that cares about me. But do you care about me more than everyone else? Because that was a huge issue for him. And she just met him, and she is trying to help him the best she can, but she's not. Also, you don't have to prove that you care about someone more than somebody else. That's a decision that you really don't have to make that often. But he wants to be the most important in someone's life. The actions he takes are really bad, but it's just such a common struggle. Everyone wants to be loved. Everyone wants to be cared for. It's so well done, and that's all I'm going to say on it, because I really think more people should watch this series. I think it's so surprising that it's DreamWorks. I was not expecting a DreamWorks cartoon to be this interesting, riveting, and the cliffhangers are so effective. Season 1 ended on such a cliffhanger. Season 2, I did not realize this is where the story was going, but here we are. Like, just really well done. All around. Watch the show.
Yeah.
What is your next pick, Ben?
Alright, so my next one is from The Seven Deadly Sins. And it is episodes 7 and 8, I believe, of season 1, where we first meet King.
Mm-hmm. Love King.
I just chose that because I love King. He's such a fun character. And it also introduces this whole storyline between King, Bon, and King's sister, whose name I'm forgetting. And how
they should have animated her older, but other than that, I totally agree with you.
Yeah, it's gross.
It's very anime-ish.
Yeah. But like Bon and King's sister had a romance together, and then King blames Bon for his sister's death, but he doesn't know the full story.
It's very interesting very interesting characters, other than Meliodas. Meliodas can choke. I don't like him. But it's nice to acknowledge the problems with the series while still seeing everything that it does super well. I know we already talked about this with Steven Universe. Yeah, I really like Seven Deadly Sins. We definitely should rewatch that as well. Any other comments?
No, just that it's a really fun show.
It is a super fun show, and then realizing why they are associated with the sins that they're associated with is awesome. Yeah. It's like, it's a show that really plays with your perception. It's like, oh, you didn't get the full story. That's like an ongoing theme with that, actually.
Yeah.
Pretty cool stuff. My number one pick was BoJack Horseman, The View from Halfway Down, which is the episode right before the series finale. And this episode just took elements and lines and plot points from way earlier in the series throughout, to the point that we are now, and sprinkles them in to re-punch us in the face and in the gut multiple times. Something that I liked is that even though it was super surreal, they were letting us in on what was actually happening. Because all this is happening in BoJack's head. This is Ben. Whoa. This is... I'm not associating you with BoJack. I promise I'm not. This is,
I hope not.
No, not at all. Ew. No, this is BoJack's way of trying to find out more about death and trying to come to terms with death as a positive thing. But even in his subconscious, he is haunted by these people that he feels responsible for killing, except for Secretariat. Their deaths, either the deaths he feels connected to personally or connected to because he relates to the person. The Secretariat was paired with his dad, which I thought also was a really nice detail because the Secretariat was the only father figure in his life, which is also sad because they'd never met. He just admired him from afar. Very interesting. And then also the ways each of them die. I brought up before that Sarah Lynn kind of just fell. She was, she was drugged up. She fully embraced death without even realizing what it is. Then you have Secretariat, who did commit suicide, but every time the door was introduced, or he was getting close to the door, he's like, no, actually, and he's reciting The View from halfway down, the poem, the monologue, about his thoughts that he had while he was going off the bridge. And then you have Herb, who died of cancer, where he doesn't even go into the door. The darkness just covers his entire body. Which, I told you that the first time we were filming this, and you were like, I didn't even realize that. And it's just really interesting, because not only are we reliving Bojack's trauma with it, like, witnessing the death of all these characters, we also get to see these characters in their last moments. Sarah Lynn doing another performance of show-stopping number. Don't Stop Dancing, one of the things that he told her from season 1. It's really freaky stuff. And I think the fact that we were let in on the fact that Bojack was dying with this is chlorine water, this and this and this. The walls dripping that black ooze.
There was like that leak in the ceiling.
Yeah.
It was just like constantly water falling on Bojack's head.
So we knew what was happening, but even then, I was holding my breath the entire time. Even before that realization, it was horrifying, but it was also just so beautiful and intriguing, and when it was over, I almost wanted to be tortured more. Very,
That's honestly a good metaphor for not metaphor, just good way to describe the entire show. It's just like, you watch it and you're just like, I feel so bad. Make me feel worse.
Because it's just such a great, the artistry of it is just so well done. The show itself is so well done. I think it's one of my favorite episodes of anything, because you saw how much thought went into it. It's just really, really, really well done. Anyways, Ben, what's your final episode before we wrap this up?
My final episode is also from BoJack Horseman. It is Free Churro, which is from season 5, I believe, where we had just learned the last episode really suddenly, just out of the blue. I think he gets a phone call that his mom has just died, and like the entire episode, Free Churro, is just him dealing with the fact that he will never get any chance to talk to his mother again, any chance to sort out all of the horrible things that she'd done to him in his childhood, and then that he did to her in her old age.
Yeah, when she was senile and didn't even know what was happening. It was it was a softer side that we got to see of Beatrice, and it was also just an extra punch in the gut, because we got to see how Beatrice was like this too. Like you said earlier, the cycle of abuse. And it was a really great way to... That came towards the end of the season, right?
No, I feel like it was actually kind of midway through season 5.
The way they timed it was perfect. They gave us just enough time to find out about everything and want it to happen, because for a while it seems like they're gonna like reconcile, as small as it is and as much as she's, kind of gone in her brain. At the very least, Bojack could have a semi-nice memory of his mother, and that just never happens. It's heartbreaking. It really, really is. And then the fact that the episode is a giant monologue, they really play with how they can tell the story, and it's really cool.
Yeah, this is one of those episodes where they really stray away from the usual format of the show.
Yeah.
By instead of having it take place in a bunch of different locations and with a bunch of different characters and stuff, it's just one room. Only Bojack speaks the entire time. We don't see anyone else in the episode, except for the very beginning, which is a flashback to this time that his dad picked him up from soccer.
But that was so short.
How abusive his dad was.
Yeah, that was about 3 minutes, and then the intro plays, and then the rest of it is a giant monologue.
Yeah.
And it didn't drag, really. It was very riveting.
It was, one of the best monologues I've ever seen.
You want to put that up, and I hope you do still one day. Ben has performed a chunk of this monologue, and it works so well. I hope you get to perform it. It's really well done, and it can be put up as a one act. You don't need to know anything about BoJack Horseman to hear that monologue and really understand the desperation and the awful relationship between these two characters.
Yeah.
And then at the end it's revealed. Yeah. Wait, tell him.
Yeah, and then he does this huge emotional monologue, and he ends it. The line's something like, "Unless she wanted what all of us want, to be seen." And then he goes over to the coffin, which has been closed this whole time, and he opens it up, and then he closes it, and he goes, "Is this room B12?" And we realize he's been in the wrong room, speaking at the wrong funeral this entire time.
And we laugh.
Seems like a joke.
Yeah. And then you realize.
But then you think about it. Yeah. You think about it, and then you're like, that is kind of a metaphor for their entire relationship. That they could have these emotional moments where they almost find some sort of solace and some sort of reconciliation, but then there's the realization that they're not in the same spot. They're not able to see each other.
And then beyond that relationship, you think about what that other room must have looked like for Beatrice.
Yeah.
Like, no one must have shown up for her.
Yeah.
It's devastating. It's really, really upsetting stuff. Such a heavy show, but so well thought out. Every detail is planned perfectly. I don't remember any holes or any plot points that they brought up only to drop. I really don't.
No.
I'd have to rewatch it, but it's pretty clean. It's a pretty clean series in terms of I mean, it's well rated for a reason. I mean, there's always going to be people who dislike something or find something, but they don't leave anything unsaid. Let's just say that.
Yeah. Really, the only thing I can think of that I kind of disliked about the show was that towards the last 2 seasons, all of Todd's zany antics bits where it's just all this cartoony ridiculous humor. It was really fun, and I really appreciated it earlier in the show because you really needed that just insanity that has nothing really to do with the rest of the plot, just as kind of a break from how heavy the rest of it was. But then by the end, it was just kind of this again.
By the end, it was
I'd rather get back to the plot.
By the end, it was watering it down for sure.
Yeah.
And that just about does it. Look at us, freaking wrapping it up again. Hopefully the sound is on.
That would be...
Could you imagine?
I don't even want to say.
Could you imagine? Anyways.
I'd rather not.
This was a lot of fun. Be sure to stay tuned next week where we talk about something else.
Who knows?
Have a great day. Oh, also, before I say bye, this is another episode where we can do again. Leave in a comment below if you want to see us categorize another top 5, but for more specific things like anime, comedy, in real life. What's the opposite of cartoons? Live action.
Live action.
So we can get into more specific genres and really explore more. And just in general, leave what you want to see next. We're just talking about anything that comes into our brains, but if you're interested in something, just definitely let us know. Have a great day, guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.